If you want to get good at English, you have to read a lot. But if you read and listen at the same time, you can improve faster. If you find a word you don't understand, don't worry. Keep reading and listening to the end. There you'll find the meanings to those difficult words and phrases. So read, listen, and enjoy. The rain hit the car's windscreen hard as Elodie Tanner's family was driving down a quiet road. In the distance, they could see the silhouette of an old mansion, which looked scary because of its towers and pointy roof. Elodie pressed her nose against the window, and her breath created fog on the glass. The Tanners were moving from the city into the countryside to escape the noise and the crowded streets. But Elodie, with her wide eyes and overactive imagination, wasn't so sure this was a good idea. There was something forbidding about the mansion. Maybe it was the way the lightning danced around its tall towers, or its overgrown garden, which looked like it hadn't been cared for in many years. When the car stopped, Elodie noticed the dog with bright eyes looking at her from the mansion's front door. The dog looked messy, with wet fur covered in mud. She got out of the car, and the dog paused before coming closer to her. She reached out her hand, and the dog sniffed it carefully before letting her pet it behind its ears. "Looks like you've made a friend, Elodie," her father said, his voice barely audible over the storm. Elodie smiled and patted the dog's head. Over the next few days, the dog, who she named Shadow, stayed with her all the time. There was something odd about Shadow, though. He acted very protective, as if he was keeping her safe from things she couldn't see. At night, when she lay in her new room, she could sometimes sense him outside the window, his watchful eyes looking through the darkness. One evening, as the sun set, Elodie found a secret door in the basement. She took a flashlight and went inside, feeling her heart beat faster as she heard thunder in the distance. The passage took her to a room that nobody had been in for a long time. It was full of old things covered in dust. She was probably the first person to enter this room for a decade or more. Among the old photos and letters, one thing got her interest. A cutting from a newspaper from the 12th of November, 1989. The headline read, "Mysterious Disappearance at Local Mansion." She read the story from start to finish. She learned that something tragic happened there. A young girl named Amelia went missing on a stormy night. The story said that her family looked everywhere, but they couldn't find her. Elodie felt a shiver run down her back as she read the story. She wondered if Amelia's ghost still lingered in the mansion. While she thought about this, she felt like someone was there behind her. She turned around and saw Shadow standing in the doorway, his eyes fixed on her. As time passed, Shadow's behavior became more and more unusual. Sometimes he would bark at empty corners of the room, his eyes fixed on something she couldn't see. And it wasn't just Shadow. It was her too. Her dreams. She started having vivid dreams about a girl. But who was she? Was she Amelia? As Elodie looked through old letters and photos, she found out that Amelia had been a very adventurous person, always wanting to find new and exciting things. The night Amelia disappeared, she couldn't sleep because of the storm, so she decided to go out and explore the mansion's gardens, hoping to uncover its secrets. There she had fallen into a well, hidden by overgrown bushes. The family's search for her was in vain. Amelia's cries for help could not be heard because of the storm. As the years went by, the mansion kept its secret hidden, and the well where Amelia fell became her final resting place. Elodie walked into the garden, and there was the well, still standing. As the rain started to fall again, Elodie sensed a comforting presence next to her. It was Shadow, but now he was transparent. He let out a soft bark, as if to say that Amelia's spirit had finally found the peace it had been seeking. And then he too disappeared.